Hi, you're watching Cape Media News. I'm Gabrielle Rawson. I'm your host, and I'm here today with Gabrielle Sakolsky, who's the superintendent of the Cape Cod Mosquito Project. Welcome.
Hi, welcome.
Awesome. So happy to have you here today. Tell us a little, tell our viewers, for people who don't know, what is the Cape Cod Mosquito Project and what do you guys do?
Sure, we're a quasi-state organization. We are made up of the 15 towns in Barnstable County. They're our member towns. We're funded by the towns. We have 26 employees that are working all over Cape Cod year-round to control mosquito populations.
Awesome. I know last March, prior to the COVID pandemic, we had interviewed and you had taken me to a place where you actually go and test to see, how the mosquitoes are doing. And we never got to use that footage. So I was hoping you could, we'll share some of that footage today with our viewers. And I was hoping you could give us an update. What's the status? I know when we talked by email, you said it's been a light year. Why is that?
It has been a lot less rain. Less rain means less standing water, means less habitat for mosquitoes to develop in. And it gives my crews time to get out and to make sure that they're taking care of any place where there are mosquitoes developing.
Okay, because I know we were worried about that in March, that it was going to be a really big mosquito year. There's lots of diseases, right?
Definitely. We had water coming into this season. Again, the swamps had water in them. So we had mosquitoes that had overwintered in their larval stage in that water. We had habitat for them to start hatching. And then come May, June, July, we didn't get any rain. So I know the drought is bad for the plants, but good for the mosquito populations, as in they're very low.
Okay, so that's good to know. There still obviously are some mosquitoes out there, right?
Yes, there are still some mosquitoes, unfortunately. I hate to admit it, but there are some mosquitoes out there. We have species of mosquitoes that develop in saltwater habitats, and we still have those high tides and the moon tides, and so we still have those type of mosquitoes that are out there. And the calls that we're getting from people now, not a lot, but a few, are all in relation to those saltwater mosquito species.
Interesting. And are those species carrying any illnesses that
No, they're aggressive daytime biting mosquitoes that are bothering people, but thank goodness they are not capable of transmitting disease.
That's great.
Yeah.
What does this mean for next year? Is this a situation where we could be good next year, or if we get slammed with rain, we're in the same scenario as before?
It's hard to predict for next year. There's still a little bit of water out there, not a lot, a little bit, and it does keep raining. I'm looking at my window thinking, I hope it's not going to rain anymore, but I think it's supposed to rain even today. So you really can't predict what's going to happen next year. The State Department of Public Health does say that Eastern equine encephalitis tends to be a 2 or 3 year cycle. Things were relatively low this year, although we just heard about the 4th human case. So there is some Eastern equine encephalitis out there. I think
Massachusetts or on Cape Cod?
In Massachusetts, we had no mosquitoes test positive on Cape Cod for any diseases this year.
Great.
We have had historically no person test positive for Eastern equine encephalitis on Cape Cod. But it's enough that people should remain vigilant.
Okay. How do people remain vigilant? If you own a house or if you're going out, what should people do?
So when you're talking about different diseases, West Nile virus is one of those viruses that you see here on Cape Cod, and mosquitoes test positive for it, not this year, but in the past. Those types of mosquitoes that transmit West Nile virus, they lay their eggs and their larvae develop in containers that are man-made containers. Things like the tarp that's sitting over whatever it is in your backyard. So even with these little rains, just going around your property once a week and making sure that you dump out any standing water is important. I know that I still see in the mornings, it's drought, so I see a lot of sprinklers going. And I know people don't think that there's anything holding water in their yard, but those sprinklers are all over people's yards at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they are filling up the road drains, and they are filling up little containers in your property. So just go around once a week, make sure you don't have any standing water so you're not creating your mosquito problem.
Okay.
If you're going to be out in the evening, for any types of mosquitoes. The species of mosquitoes that transmit either Eastern equine encephalitis or West Nile virus tend to be evening biting mosquitoes from dusk to a couple hours after the sun sets. If you're going to be out during those hours, make sure that if you're not wearing long pants, long sleeves, that you have repellent with you, and a repellent that has an EPA registration number on it. That shows when you look at the label that that product is both effective and safe to use.
Okay. I'm going to ask you kind of a funny question then.
Okay.
Citronella candles really work?
So mosquitoes are attracted to you based on smells.
Okay.
So I guess the idea behind them is that it's supposed to cover up the good smell of you with a bad smell of citronella. Anecdotally, people will say they work, but there's no scientific evidence. And in a case where we may have disease being carried by mosquitoes, I would never recommend something that wasn't proven with a lot of data.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Awesome. So is there anything I haven't asked you or brought up today? Anything you want to share with our viewers before I let you go?
No, as our mosquito season is wrapping up, our employees do work year round, and you'll still see the trucks out there, even through COVID and everything. Everybody's been still working, doing their jobs. We're out in the field, so we don't do a lot of personal face-to-face contact and this year, as residents have called and I've sent out crews to their properties, we've had people call back so we can give them information. So my crew doesn't have to actually talk face-to-face to people, keeping social distances and all that. But as we go into the fall, our crews will still be out there cleaning ditches, opening pipes, creating access paths so they can get into places for next summer, surveillance for mosquitoes and see what's going on over the winter. So it doesn't stop now just because you're not seeing mosquitoes. It'll get cold, and after the first frost, the risk for transmission of disease goes away. But we're still working hard, thinking about next year.
Wonderful. Well, keep up the great work. Thank you for
Thanks.
doing what you do.
Thanks.
We'll check back in with you in the spring and get another update.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thank you.